Good afternoon. I am Galyna Kheylo. I am a president of the Global Payment Association and vice president of Ukrainian Banks Association. It is enough, maybe.
We will do it like this. You have your presentation.
Yes.
So short presentation, and you can start, and then we go one after one.
Okay.
So through your presentation, we can understand what is your expertise, why you're sitting here today, and why you are sitting in Agro and food panel. Can you start?
Now I will say about investments because I have many expertises, but now I will say about investments. I recently attended an American-Ukrainian Partnership Forum in Washington, and much of discussions focused on the war in Ukraine and needs to support, to aid, to recovery, reconstruction, and of course investments. American colleagues noted that there are many investment opportunities across wide sectors may interest American investors, including agricultural resources, high-tech manufacturing, renewable energy, and others. So, since now we are discussing about agriculture, I will focus on that. Firstly, it should be noted the USA are more interested in supplying agricultural products rather than production. While Ukraine wants to attract investments in agricultural production, the USA are interested in supplying equipment, agricultural equipment, infrastructure equipment, as well as food processing. In particular, such sectors as starches, yeast extracts, fuel ethanol, amino acids, carbonates, biodiesel, animal fats, and vegetable oils can be highlighted. According to estimates, the post-war costs for replacing of agricultural equipment stolen or damaged during the war amount $926 million. In addition, grain storages repairs will cost $272 million. Also, Ukraine needs to continue program of irrigation and drainage systems. It requires special technologies and equipment too. Most of Ukrainian export Unfortunately, except vegetable oils, are raw materials such as wheat, corn, rapeseed, and other. Therefore, there are some opportunities in the field of equipment for food industry. However, American investors see significant risks for their investments. It is not only war. It is corruption and other. We make we should make reforms if we want to attract investments. It will be, of course, anti-corruption, institutional reforms, but not only that. We should accelerate land reform, because now about 27% of lands don't have clear property rights. It does not opportunity to attract short-term or long-term funding or acquire some equipment or technologies. Else, we should to lift moratorium on foreign ownership of agricultural lending, because many foreign producers need to ensure their suppliings by their own products, at least basic products.
Sorry, your time is up. As I told
Thank you for your attention.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to me to speak in front of such distinguished auditory. I represent VitAgro Group as Chief Investment and Business Development Officer. VitAgro Group is a very big agricultural and industrial holding which is situated in Liski, Ternopil, Riga region, partly Volyn. We now going to the secular economy in Agro, and using new challenges which in front of us, we have our own Ukrainian way of sustainable development. It is not yes. Yes, VitAgro Group started from scratch in 1999. Before the war, there were 7,000 employees in 2021, and the EBITDA of 2021 was more than 100 million euro. At this slide, you can see that VitAgro Group has vast amount of activities. We have our own arable land equal to 85,000 hectares, and in addition we have different processing facilities, 3 ceramic blocks factories, 9 asphalt plants, a grain elevator with the capacity of up to 400,000 tons, cattle population, pigs population. We have one of the top 5 fruit gardens in Ukraine, sunflower oil production, seed plant, and the factory of plant protection products. At the same time, VitAgro has our own trading company. We trade with our commodities. And despite the situation in Ukraine with the restrictions of export due to the war and due to some actions from European countries, our neighbors, we managed to already to export from Ukraine more than 100,000 tons of grains by rail, 15,000 tons by trucks, and 40,000 tons by ships. We have our own storages, as I mentioned, and we are open for increasing the volumes of export according to the demand from the market. And now we have very good teams. Here you can see one of the team of our VitAgro partner, which produces organic fertilizers and other products. This team sell its products to the farmers, under which there are more 3 million land bank, 3 million hectares, and the same teams in each of our facilities. At the same time, VitAgro Group invested in 4 solar power stations, and all of them are generating electricity and sell it to the open market, including guaranteed buyer. And due to the situation with the natural gas in European Union and in energy as well, we made a decision to penetrate to biomethane production, to bioethanol production, and deep corn and soybean processing. As for the construction of biomethane production plant, you know that the potential of biomethane production and export is huge, and in Ukraine there are possibility to insert to the different grids up to 10 billion cubic meters of biomethane. And our first project, which have been constructing now and building, is biomethane with the potential of 3 million cubic meters of biomethane with investment more than 7 million euro. Here you can see our construction slide. It is next to our farm, as the output at July this year, fingers crossed, we will have 3 million cubic meters and biomethane, and in addition, organic fertilizer products. Here you can see our 2 fermentators and our farm. We will use the manure of our production and the straw as a material for biomethane production. Our team works every day, 24/7, and here you can see how this biomethane plant would be in case we will cut on the ribbon at July. Our strategy is to increase the potential of biomethane production, and we identified at Liski region minimum 3 points of entry where we can install the same production facilities with the same volumes from 3 million cubic meters of biomethane each. The potential investment equal to 21 million euro, it is minimum. As for the bioethanol construction, you know that the bioethanol market has been developing, and the CARC equal to 13% annually. The market equal to $41 billion, and as a collateral product, GDGS, it is a protein equal to 30%, level of 30%. We will have GDGS with the CAGR 7% annually, and market potential for today 15 billion euro. Our GDGS would be the first in Ukraine, and you know that European Union consume GDGS mostly from USA. As an output from September this year, we are going to use 85,000 tons of our own corn and sell to the European Union and in the market 35,000 cubic meters of bioethanol and 28,000 tons of GDGS annually. Here you can see how our bioethanol plant installed. We have different necessary parts, including railways, electricity, all other needs for efficient production. And this location is next to the Chertkiv, Chernobyl region. As for the deep processing plant, we have additional product, sunflower oil extraction plant. It is next to the Rivne region. We have our own land, more than 30 hectares, where we're going to install sunflower oil production, which will include different parts, and we will have our biogas for using our electricity and receiving all necessary certificates which will give added value for the export to the European Union. At the same time, now we are considering the deep processing of corn, of wheat and soybeans, because we faced with new challenges. The prices for corn, wheat and soybeans decreased drastically, and we see the way how to do with this in investing in new processing facilities where we will receive added value through making starch, through making glucose, fructose and other products, or protein from soybeans. So, as you saw, VitAgro Group has very good experience, very good track record. We have good teams. We have very good experience with the banking systems. We work with Credit Agricole, with Raiffeisen Bank, with the inner Ukrainian banks. And we are open for the increasing of our activity despite the war situation. We look at the future, and let's create the future together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Serhii. One question I will ask, maybe it will be for everyone. Generally, for all speakers today, generally the main interesting point, I think for everyone, yes, everyone knows that Ukraine is a huge agro producer. That's why price now for all grains and oilseeds in so depressive in Europe, because when the Port Odessa, Mariupol, we lost the main export point, all our extra volumes trying to flow to Europe, and now the Poland in panic. For Polish farmer, they are not happy. Hungary not happy, Slovakia not happy from this. We have this resilience. When you plan your deep processing, this is clear. Now we have super cheap grains in Ukraine and oilseeds. And then you plan your deep processing. Do you know already the markets? Because if Ukraine will jump to deep processing in 3 years, it will not happen the same that we make full starch export to Europe, to all the world, and then you will say, oh, now the price for oil also not good, starch not good, maltodextrin not good. What will happen then? How you see this market? Who is waiting for our deep processing product?
Thank you, Dmitry. It is a very good and interesting question. Of course, we calculating the potential markets, and we are going to forecast in 5-10 years. There are big competition with these products as well. There are quotas, but now we considering that making such production with new equipment, with energy efficient equipment, with the maybe potential partnership with the with big players which you mentioned, which have their own markets and supplying, will contribute to our company to increase the export potential of such products. It is not easy way. It is a big challenge and hard work. How to build these facilities, how to find the new markets, but we see that the potential financial investors considering such opportunities in Ukraine and are willing to invest and give financial leverage to such companies. That's why we are looking in this way.
Okay, so let's move forward, and then Igor, your presentation, and here we can hear also a success story, as I know, pretty impressive. Igor Liski, who is the chairman of Supervisory Board, EFI Group, Effective Investment Group. And we will ask technical guys to give us the presentation. Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for your interest to our, let's say, presentations. And I see there's a lot of competition between panels. So thank you so much for the attention for the agricultural sector. I will try to look at that from different angle. Just about myself, Igor Liski, I'm the main shareholder of the FE Group, or it's we call it originally Effective Investment. That's a group which invests in industrial companies. Mostly we build it from the scratch, from greenfields. During the last 10 years, we built more than 7 from the greenfield. Mainly it's the paper industry, packaging, food processing, protein processing, wood processing, some healthcare, some IT, but right now I want to be focused on agriculture. As you know, Ukraine is very famous for its soil, very famous as a breadbasket of Europe. We've heard that many times. For 100 years, we feed the Europeans and not in Africa, and you know that Ukraine is have so much potential in agriculture, but somehow, like a much smaller country as Holland or Netherlands, which have three times less soil, but export 10 times more than Ukrainian agriculture sector. Why is it so? As we find out that the main problem is that we have not enough added value in agriculture. And I support my colleague that says that we should invest in processing, and that's our main future for agriculture. But I want to focus you on even bigger problem, or let's say much more ambitions for Ukrainian AgriFood or agricultural system. So we now have some examples I just want to share with you. For example, everybody knows that Ukraine is the biggest producer of sunflowers or sunflower oil, but there are no brands in Europe or in the world, you know, that Ukrainian sunflower brand something. The same stuff was with, let's say, honey production. Ukraine is the biggest producer in Europe in honey, number 2 and number 3 between how to calculate in the world, but still we have we did not have it before, because right now we have something like that. And we started this project 5 years ago, and it was like a big discussion why it's so. Ukraine is a big producer of honey with 400,000 beekeepers. I think it's the biggest number connecting with the till the per capita. How many? Because I think it's inside of our Ukrainian DNA that we know how to treat bees, and as my grandfather said, that the bees not accept bad people. So probably the Ukrainians are good people, but nevertheless, I believe and I want to convince you as well and to inspire you to be focused on the branding, because the best added value in agriculture when you have brand. And it's not easy. For example, we have to spend many efforts in convincing people, especially in Europe, that Ukrainian brand of honey is 100% natural, is the highest standard, it's all about quality, all about standards and efforts, but in the end, we have to build the best factory we can do with the highest standard and spend a lot of money and efforts in branding. But right now we're exporting these jars over the 27 countries. Before the war, we were less than 20 countries, and our main market was Middle East and Asia, also some bit Canada and US. But nowadays we focus our effort to conquer Europe. Sorry to say, but war a little bit help us with they just take out these taxes, the special ones. I don't remember what the name of this. 17% of the taxes they take out, and now we already from last month we are on the 5,000 shops in Spain. This month we go to as a pilot to 300 shops in Germany. Next stage, we believe that we'll go to UK market, and yes, we believe that Ukrainian brand could conquer European market. That's ambitions that I really inspire you all and all the companies to follow, and just we should believe that Ukrainian brands could be not the same but even better, and that's one of the projects. As an example, you have also, if you are already inspired by such example, you can invest in that as well. And the other project that we started just before the war, and it was like also very ambitious one, because it's not only about export, not about the branding, but it's also about the building the industry in Ukraine, which was not existing before. So many of you know that we have a lot of feeding animals, and it's even our colleague is just growing us with many pigs and cows, and this. But less people know that the waste from that. It was a big problem for Ukraine. It was the only country in Europe with the agricultural sector that has no such industry processing this animal waste. Because in Soviet Union, they was just burning that and put everything as CO2 into the atmosphere, and as was like using natural gas for that. Now we build this ambitious this plant, and we process it and produce high protein, high animal protein to export, also to produce pet food, to produce food for domestic animal as well. So we really keep the protein in circular economy, and we build this industry from the scratch. And I believe that we will build another 2 or 3 in Ukraine to make this industry sustainable in Ukraine. That everybody, small and big enterprise, will have access to recycle their waste. And what I want to focus you, and what I want us to in what I really believe, that Ukraine has a tremendous potential, especially after the war, because I strongly believe that we will be the part of the European market, the part of the European Union, and agriculture with its potential, with added value in agriculture, in processing, and also in branding Ukrainian goods, it will be really ambitious and growing plan. So please join this, but with this angle. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's open question for everyone. Okay, I will ask the next speakers also. You told you believe you will be the part of European Union. We are not part of European Union now, and we have now right now we have problem on the border with our export to Europe. It's not about honey, but about our main huge raw materials. How do you think? Is it really somebody interested in Europe in agro sector to see no borders between Ukraine and Poland, for example, or France, who is also NATO exporter, Germany growing also more than they can eat. So everybody is exporter into this open question for all of you. How do you feel? Because you are working in this.
I personally, I'm not waiting for the, let's say, for the walk or for the easy walk with the European Union. Of course, every country, especially our neighbors, Polish people and Polish government, of course, they want us to fight for to support their farmer producer. But I think it's just a question of negotiations and a question of how to build a win-win story. And I believe that we can do, and we have much more arguments now for European Union, and it's a question of like a good negotiation. And I really believe that I want to believe that our country will represent skilled and good negotiator for the government, because I think we have much more than enough arguments for our partners why we should be among the European families, how much we invest in whole transparency and security. So it's just a question, but believe me, we have no other way.
I believe.
So it's a question of how quickly, how difficult, and how effective will be our companies and our government to negotiate the conditions. But when, it's not a question. Be or not to be, it's not a question. It's only when and how.
I want to continue a little bit about these questions and a little bit complete to Igor answer. Another question is how fast we move to European Union. Our amazing neighbors Poland continue to move step by step to European Union and negotiate each agreement and protect his market. Each country must protect. And I think this crisis with the grain, it's not last. It's not last crisis. We waiting crisis with another products. If you hear, but now Poland farms has a huge problem with cool storages for the berries, because all storages now are completely full with the Ukrainian berries. It's the next situations. Even with honey, maybe we're waiting some problem. Each country must to protect his market. And I think in future, Ukrainian parallel during the way to the European Union, providing some tax for some products. Because if it's Ukrainian not protect market and not support to Ukrainian entrepreneur, it's very difficult with after the war without some tax supporting, even custom tax, increase new clusters in Ukraine. And I agree with Igor, it's a long way to very strong negotiated with European Union. But we must remember, European Union is our neighbors, it's a big market, but it's not the biggest market in the world, not the biggest market. We must cooperate with the Europe partners, like a hub and together move to big market, Africa, Latin America, and Asia, and so on. We have a lot of opportunities for cooperate and for integrate together. Okay.
Okay. So this again, also.
Thank you for the questions. I totally agree with the colleagues that there must be two parts of the work. First is our government work, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs work, our Ministry of Economy. By the way, yesterday I took part at the non-GMO conference at Frankfurt 2 days. Yesterday and before the day yesterday. And what I saw that it was very big Brazilian delegation, very big, 25-30% of all participants were from Brazil, including the Vice Minister of Agriculture, including the Vice Minister of Ministry of Economy, and all of them are struggling for the market of the European Union. And unfortunately, I didn't see the representative of our Ukrainian embassy yesterday there. I didn't see the representative of other officials, but all of them must be there, I guess. As for the part of work which belongs to the players, like VitAgro and others, of course, we have to invest in new ways how to facilitate the export of our production with new certificates, with CO2 emissions trace diminution and other instruments which there are in the market disposals. We must learn how to do with it, and we must use it in our strategy, in our everyday work.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to add, now I live in Poland and I see the situation very good, and Poland protects their interests and it is understand. But I always say to Polish officials, now we have war in Ukraine, but it is war not only Ukraine, it is war of all Europe. And if Ukrainian economy decrease, it will be worst for the war, for the situation in Ukraine, and so Poland and other European countries should help us.
They need to understand. I think they understand, but if you're talking about a farmer who is sitting on his farm and cannot sell wheat because it's everything already full with double cheaper wheat from Ukraine, which exported by our farmers who just need to have something for this wheat, or it will be lost. But it's okay. There is Poland. I don't really want to go further with this situation because, as Boris told us, probably the next crisis already knocking on the door. And it's time now for Boris, who was last year here in Lugano with his project in our business hub. And it will be very interesting to see what progress we have for 1 year and maybe transformation of your vision. Yeah? Boris, please welcome. Boris Shestopalov.
Yes, how is you? Okay, guys, thank you very much, everybody, because my friend Igor said me before during the lunch time, Boris, please don't worry, because we sit 4 of us on the, or 8 of us on the stage and talk between us a little bit about our work, but now, no, even there are just some free chairs. It's okay. Who are you? I'm Boris Shestopalov. I'm food producers. Last long years, I develop to our company. We concentrate to B2C market. But usually like B2B producers. It means our clients. It's a big chain of petrol stations, supermarket. We have some export. Before the war, we have a 15th factory. We produce full line of products for dry shelves and products like ready meal with long shelf lives. We have 15 factories before the war now, and we lost 4 factories during the war, 2 due to the bombing attack, 2 in occupation area. But we continue to we still live and we still work. And but this presentation, small presentations, not about our company, like existence company, because we have some plans now. We have some investment and another company. We try to support Ukrainian food tech startups. But my small presentations, it's not real presentations, because real presentations, have say to me, organizer, guys who is making this forum, my main presentation is tomorrow, and I just preparing now for interest for my presentations tomorrow, because tomorrow on the main stage, I have presentations our MVP. My presentations little bit for turn attentions our potential friends, investors, and people from the war problem to the problem what we do it now. Everybody understand how it looks Ukraine in agriculture, map of agriculture before the 24th of February. I not continue to explain this. Now we understand what has happened. It's lost productions. I not repeat a lot of huge numbers what we heard today on the main stage about Ukrainian losses infrastructure, losses enterprises, Ukrainian, and what has happened with global supply chain. We start to talk now in our panel discussions. And what is good news? What is the good news? Even with the loss of around 20%, Ukrainian food sectors lost less than other. And now 75% of food business unknowns unknown refresh his mass of products like before the war. 10-15% of company increase his volume more than before the war. It means food service, food products. It's one of the main part of Ukrainian business. And if we continue to question Dmitry about what is doing with a lot of products what we produce after the war. First of all, please don't forget about Ukrainian market. During the Michael Cook presentations, Michael shows the numbers about items of Ukrainian import. During the war, even now, products, food, ready products, it's one of the main item when the Ukrainian government spends the currency, spends the dollars and oil. We even now Ukraine is a huge country, and we need a lot of products, a lot of food. It means now we produce not enough if we buy outside. But what we buy outside? First of all, we will buy outside very products with a very margin. It's a it's a product with a high level of expertise, with a specific technology. What we not produce in Ukraine, first of all, and other things, we have a lot of neighbors near with us. Even now, our company, like Igor said before me, during the war we start to sell Ukrainian products in around 25 countries. It's products with long shelf lives. It's dry products, and now we feel now problem with the logistics. Other problem, what we feel now, big problem, it's a problem with the payments. It means not a problem with the money, it's a problem with a channel for the payments, because Ukrainian now in banking map, it's look like not very safety country, and some government even not recommendations to his distributors company buy products in Ukraine, if it's buy exactly without prepayments. It's a problem. For this case, just a moment. Okay. For this case, we have in Ukraine very good opportunities to develop food processing business in Ukraine. In this page, it's just part of opportunities. But even now, we have a good OPEX, good operations expenses if we start to do it business. We have very good, not now, but even now, we have good situations with smart and local populations. We have a lot of benefits for this case. We start to, me and my team, our team, we start to create a chain of special AgriFood tech park with specializations for food produce, for food processing. It's very specific parks with a lot of investments to specific infrastructure, because everybody who is work with the food processing understand what is the needs, what is the big needs about water, electricity, sewage, zero. A lot of questions with carbon, a lot of questions with waste. We think about it and we create special parks. It's our future map for territory when we have idea or a land for create industrial park. Our idea, it's build heart of each our parks. It's this food tech accelerator. It's a special area for the create new technology and improve this technology immediately in enterprises, which is still our future parks. It's our team. It's team now which much more bigger. It's our partners now who is joined to our project. And we invite some investors, we invite developers, we invite to our park future residents from our country, from Ukraine, and from other country, because I think Ukrainian, even now, with all our problem with the tax, problem with some law, but at the same time, we have very good opportunities to start to do business in Ukraine. And like I say all the previous speakers, we stay in Ukraine, we developed our country, we develop our business, and we want to invite another partners to join to us for create our future together.
Thank you, Boris. Okay. So, before we finish the first part of our panel, I have one provocative question. No, not so provocative.
Too easy, any questions?
Okay, and one probably theme to discuss very shortly. First, briefly, when we sitting here in Lugano, perfect safe place. Yes, it's
Very tasty, good wine, good people.
Everything is perfect. And when we hear what you discussing right now, it's something like, yes, we have some little problems somewhere in Ukraine, but still everything is perfect. We are growing, we're doing perfect job, we're expanding to the market. But you just came from the war country. No, we are here not. This is question probably will come from our partners who
Understand.
hearing now.
Understand. It's okay. 2 words. Of course, we have a problem. I just 2 days go from the Zaporozhye. It's not a Kiev, it's Zaporozhye. We have a bombing attack usually 1 or 2 times per week. And of course, we understand conditions where we live and where we work. And now one of the main subject for us is geography. Geography now it's very now exists with mathematics. Everybody understand now. We have now in Ukraine safety place, okay, more safety place for developing grown business. We have now territory very close to the fighting line, very close to the new like battle line. And of course, it's not a time for develop this part of country. Needs to finish and win the war. And of course, we feel all the problem, and we live in this problem now. But we try to explain about optimistics. Even now, we are growing. Even now, because first of all, we are now enterprises in Ukraine, smallest quantity. And even now, we stay in Ukraine, and we still to develop our business.
Yeah, I also want to add just a small point that for Ukrainians, all the Ukrainians were expert in football and politics. Right now, we all of them switched to the military experts. So now we believe and understand. So we believe in our ZSU military forces. We believe that everything will be fine or even better. And I support Boris that for the foreign investors and the foreign partners, the main thing is numbers. For example, during the war, most of our companies grow. And for example, we have 25% of growth in honey producing and 27% in exporting. And we have 42% growth in feed Nova, which is a show, and during the last year. So when you have these numbers, when you have a stable and reliable partnership with your buyers and contractors and with the banks, so with your all kind of partners, so it means that you build trust within them. And when you have trust, it's a question of how you look at your future. For example, I believe in Ukraine you can't be pessimistic doing business. So all Ukrainian businessmen are optimistic by the nature, because otherwise you have to find another place to make your business. So we are optimistic about Ukrainian future. As I said, we believe that we'll more and more be integrated in the European Union, the biggest market in the world. We believe that I think the changes in the government also should be done, and the reforms, and we as a business will do a lot about that. So it will not be easy work, but I believe that every day we closer to the victory, closer to the right track. The main thing in business that is in the right track, in the right track. And we strongly believe in that.
Thank you. And probably now for a few questions. No, and next, because we need to be short, and especially for you. Next question. It's very funny when we speaking about Europe, and we speaking always about the farmers. Big farmers, slowly, who is protecting their market, who is producing a lot of products, and who is always searching for additional value. Ukraine is not a country of the farmers. Ukraine is a country of agro holdings. And my question is, how do you think, as an agro holding, one of the biggest agro holding in Ukraine, is it correct way to develop our country in agro sector to build up with agro holding, or one day we need to switch to European model
Thank you. It is really a provocative question for me as well. Yes, but we have the current status. It is historically built so far, and according to our results, the results of the activity of agriculture, the whole agriculture, whether it is farm, little farm or big agricultural holdings, we play an important role in European Union, and those restrictions which we face today from farmers' lobby in Poland and other countries only say that our way of managing agriculture is effective, and they don't compete with us, that they must make artificial restrictions for us. That's why what I see that we have to concentrate all our efforts on increasing our effectiveness, on increasing our forecasting strategy, and working with European financial institutions even before the war is over. I guess we win it. I believe in it. And those investors who see to Ukraine, not all of them will penetrate to Ukrainian market with their investment just now, but some of them, which will make the decision this year, will penetrate with the cheaper ticket, yes, for the entrance, and they will win. And we rely on such partners and such financial institutions.
Oh, thank you, Serhii. So, my provocative question, because after you on this stage, we will have some farmers.
About farmers, only one thing about farmers. Farmers, it's a very common name. And now everybody talk about like farmers, always about farmers or agriculture who is growing grain. But we have a lot of possibility to develop real farmers in another sectors. For example, me and my company now developed in west of Ukraine potato business. We start to create some potato company, and a lot of farmers with the size 50 up to 100 hectares join to us and growing to us potato with a special technology. A lot of possibility to develop clusters business with some farmers in special regions.